In some absolutely late-breaking news, CM Punk has been fired by All Elite Wrestling. My goodness, the entire landscape of AEW, of professional wrestling, shifting a day before a pay-per-view that takes place in Chicago. AEW announced today that CM Punk is done with the company. His contract has been terminated. I'm going to read the statement from AEW and Tony Khan in just a second. Before I do, though, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Okay, here it is. So this is an official statement from AEW and President Tony Khan. AEW has terminated the wrestler and employment agreement between Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, the CEO, general manager, and head of creative of AEW. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW All In London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convered with outside legal counsel before making the unanimous recommendation to Tony Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Khan offered this statement. Philip played an important role with AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contract with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share the news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making a decision in the best interest of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week, our talent, our staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and at the arenas, stadiums, and throughout the world. I'm sorry I butchered a bit of that, just reading that through. Um, okay, CM Punk officially done with the company, and there's a lot to read into this statement. First of all, of course, Khan offering. First of all, I mean, the thing that stands out the most is with cause. Like, that phrase was used multiple times in this statement, and I think that definitely is to make it clear that they are not terminating him just to terminate him. This is probably a legal thing. They're terminating him with cause because of the situation that took place backstage at All In. And there have been a lot of stories to come out about what happened. There's a lot of speculation as to what would happen to both parties involved. It doesn't look like I'm not sure if a Jack Perry suspension or fine or fire. I don't know if he's going to be fired. But, I mean, when you take into account that this is CM Punk's second offense to this extent, and the way that this statement reads, it really does read like CM Punk was the aggressor. And this is not me claiming it. This is just how I'm interpreting this statement from AEW and Tony Khan. Because the wording they use here, if you look at it, right, they're making this decision in the best interest of everyone. That almost makes me feel like, this is that they're treating this as a bit of a safety issue. I like him being backstage is a detriment to other people. That's the way this reads, and that's not me saying that. Just again interpreting this. I mean, again, this is fresh off the presses, breaking news. I'm processing it as I'm going through this. I mean, like, CM Punk, forget about like, just him not being there. I'm in Chicago for All In. And like, a lot of this show was sold on just the idea of Punk being here. And it's been under question for the past like 7 days whether or not he'd be here, because there was, the talk that he'd quit the company. There was talk about CM Punk, like, is he going to be suspended for this pay-per-view? Like, he's not suspended for it. He's fired. He's done. CM Punk is done with AEW. The guy who made his return, his passionate, absolutely like iconic return twice now in AEW. he's gone. He's no longer with the company. And Collision, like, there's so much that needs to happen here. I might just do a live stream after this, like, just because it's so insane. I mean, like Collision was built around the idea of Punk. This pay-per-view, All Out, was built around the idea of Punk. Much of AEW storyline, the Real World Championship, was built around the idea of Punk. And it goes to show you, man, like, with all that on the line, Punk still found himself in this situation. And this is not me I'm not in his shoes. I don't know what happened backstage. But one thing you can say is that CM Punk has found himself over the past year in some situations multiple times that any person who's being honest with themselves knows, like, anyone who's been caught in those situations as many times as he is, whether it's a fight, whether it's asking or demanding people not be backstage and demanding that the VP of Talent Relations not be backstage, anyone who's been, like, that much and that much in the media and causing the stir, anyone else would have been long gone at this point. But they held out because of CM Punk being CM Punk. And from a business standpoint, how could you blame them? But at the same time, this is, like, at the same time, like, you have the rest of your roster to think about. You have the rest of your company to think about. Because, and I know, I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know what Tony Khan's exact, well, we have his statement here, but we don't know what his real thoughts are about this. But you can't ignore the fact that this Punk Jack Perry thing took away from the pay-per-view. AEW's biggest pay-per-view that they might ever do. It took away from it. And if I loved AEW as much as Tony Khan does, it wouldn't sit right with me. And that would have been probably the hump that broke the camel's back. And I think, in my opinion, that is the hump that broke the camel's back here. But CM Punk fired by AEW. It was official today. Wrestling is crazy. So much to talk about. We'll do a live stream. Guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new video is released. Until next time, keep it real.